Jenna, just straight ahead, please. Just look to see the front of the dress.
Jenna on top. On top, Jenna.
We're obsessed with each other, so it's so nice to meet you.
Okay, so I feel like we need to talk about something happening in Hollywood at the moment. Why is everyone so damn thin? Jenna Ortega is currently having the internet debate around her appearance.
She has definitely lost a lot of weight within a short time period. This is what I think of when I think of Jenna Ortega. And that's what I think most of us think of. This is what she looks like now.
Ariana Grande has been dealing with a huge amount of commentary and criticism around her body and has recently informed the public that she will be stepping away from the public facing for a bit.
Ariana Grande. So it's the thing everyone's talking about.
Yeah, the memes, the jokes, the fever pitch of the body transformations of the female cast of Wicked.
And Lily Collins, who is basically synonymous with the aesthetic world of Emily in Paris, is also part of this wider conversation. People are asking, why are these women so thin? I really want to be careful here because I don't know these women's health. You don't know these women's health. And I don't think it's very useful to sit online and speculate whether they have an eating disorder, are taking something. We just don't know at all. But I do think we can talk about something that's very visible, and that is the type of body that Hollywood continues to push at the top of the beauty hierarchy. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jasmine, and this is Jasmine Decode, where I go down the internet rabbit hole and try to figure out why we're all collectively doing the things that we do online. And this particular rabbit hole isn't really why is Jenna Ortega so thin? I think the more interesting question is why does thinness keep getting pushed back or pushed into society as the definition of what a beautiful woman looks like? Because the truth is, Hollywood did not invent thinness. We've been doing this for a very, very long time. We had the ultra thin ideal of the 1990s and early 2000s, the whole heroin chic aesthetic, the very thin bodies, very little visible body fat, the size zero era, celebrity magazines obsessing over whether a woman had gained or lost 5 pounds. And there's actually research looking at decades of media imagery that found women's idealized body size became significantly thinner throughout the 1980s and 1990s. And then the culture shifted. We had the body positivity movement, and curvy bodies became more visible.
Positivity is a movement focused on body acceptance, loving your body at all stages and sizes, no matter what.
The Kardashians happened. Suddenly having a tiny waist and a much bigger bum was the thing. And then we had the strong but skinny, women lifting weights, muscles, athletic bodies, the fitness girl era. And for a while, it felt as though we had to move away from this idea that there was one tiny body that women had to fit in to be perceived as beautiful. But have we really? Now we're seemingly watching thinness come back in.
Do y'all still think it's a coincidence that everybody in Hollywood was getting extremely thin and looking extremely gaunt? And the photo of the year was Miley Cyrus that basically put on a provocation of her looking like a very, very poor, starving person? No, literally. Everyone has been looking so gaunt in Hollywood and being paper thin.
But what's interesting to me is that beauty standards have changed before, and that's not some abstract ideal. We can literally trace throughout the years the sort of bodies that were sold to women as beautiful change. The 1950s gave us the hourglass bombshell. The 1960s gave us Twiggy and a much slimmer, straighter silhouette. The 1980s brought the athletic, lean power body. The 1990s brought heroin chic. The 2000s gave us the ultra-thin celebrity and size zero aesthetic. Then came the curvier Instagram body, then the athletic body. And now we're seemingly moving back towards thinness. So this shows us that the ideal body can change at any time. Because I've seen the type of conversations and commentary surrounding these actresses.
Look at what has become of Olivia Wilde. You guys.
And it can become very easy to just say, why is she doing this? Why doesn't she just want to eat? Why are women doing this to themselves? But I think that almost misses the whole point. These women did not invent the beauty standard. They entered an industry where their appearance had a massive economical value.
Hollywood has always been very thin, right? In order to succeed in Hollywood for the longest time, you have had to be thin. But Hollywood's getting even thinner. Hollywood is becoming ultra, ultra thin. And it's becoming a theme more and more so on the red carpet.
They grew up seeing what gets praised, who gets attention, who gets opportunities, what gets fashion campaigns, what gets magazine covers, what gets you put on the red carpet being called stunning.
You're asking me in a red carpet interview if I believe if humanity is worth saving.
And what gets you criticized. And I think that all matters. Because imagine growing up and seeing how certain body types or certain women get the spotlight, get the jobs. You don't necessarily need someone to sit you down and tell you. So you see, thinness is currency. Thinness is in. You just absorb that information and store it, even subconsciously. Then you start living in that way, believing, okay, thinness gets you the jobs. Thinness gets you called stunning. Thinness gets you on those red carpets, gets you the lead. And I think the thing with this subconscious learning is that it doesn't just happen by watching someone on TV. It can happen by watching interviews, by reading magazines, from paparazzis, from social medias, from comments on social media posts, from the way people talk about women's bodies, and specifically from the way some women are treated who have a particular body.
Fat, for lack of a better word, fat women just exist, and men are like, you're fat and ugly.
Yeah.
You are so fat and disgusting and ugly. And they're like, I didn't ask.
Yeah, they're
I
literally
like you.
They're like smiling in one direction, and then they're like, just so you know, I would never date you.
So I don't think the question here is why are these women choosing to be thin, but rather what have we collectively taught women that thinness can get them? Because those two things are very different. And I think this is where this becomes much bigger than just Hollywood gossip, because these women aren't just some random people. They're highly visible.
This is a pop megastar who has a huge audience of young women and girls.
Jenna Ortega is 23. Ariana Grande is one of the most recognized pop stars in the world. And Lily Collins stars in a show that is consumed globally and is practically built around fashion, beauty, and aspirational lifestyle. And young people are watching them. And I don't think we should reduce this to now young girls are going to watch Jenna Ortega and suddenly decide to starve themselves. That's way too simplistic. The beauty standards doesn't necessarily work that way. I don't think people consciously say, okay, now I'm going to look like that person. It works by repetition. You see a body attached to beauty, and then another body attached to beauty, and another, and another. And eventually it stops feeling like this is one particular person's body, and starts feeling like, oh, this is what beautiful women look like. And I think this is where media matters, because beauty standards don't tell us what looks good. They teach us what we're supposed to want. Because we're also living in a time where we're told, don't comment on a woman's body.
But when did it become so normal to talk about women's bodies.
Bro, when are we going to decide that it's time to stop commenting on women's bodies? Telling someone they've lost weight, gained weight, who cares? Just shut up. And I don't care if that's supposed to be a compliment or not. You don't know if that person's ill, you don't know if they're going through something. Just shush.
And I agree with that in so many ways. We shouldn't be analysing someone's body as if it's public property. We shouldn't be diagnosing strangers. Shouldn't be telling women, you're too fat, you're too thin.
I really don't like when people come in my comments and try to diagnose me and tell me that I have this or I have that, because I did not ask anybody that question. I'm not paying you for that, and I do not consent to you trying to diagnose me when you don't know me.
We shouldn't be dissecting another person's body and turning it into entertainment. But then we have another reality. Women who are considered overweight are told that they're too fat. Women who are considered extremely thin are told that they're too thin. Women with curves are told that they're fake. Women without shape are told that they're shaped like a boy. Women who exercise too much are obsessive. Women who have cosmetic work are fake. Women who don't have cosmetic work are letting themselves go. And so we're sitting there thinking, okay then.
I'm so damn confused.
What body am I really supposed to have? Because they seem to be this invisible body that we're all supposed to be aiming for. Thin, but not too thin. Curvy, but natural. Fit, but not too muscular. Healthy, but also aesthetically pleasing. And maybe this is where the conversation around health gets so complicated, because we hear you can't tell someone's health by just looking at them, and I think that's very true.
True that you cannot see someone's health by looking at them, no matter what they weigh. Only they know their health, only them and their doctor know their health, and also their health is only their business and their doctor's business.
But at the same time, society has a very strong idea of what healthy is actually supposed to look like. Because the truth is, we have attached health to appearance. Thin can be healthy. Curvy can be healthy. Muscular can also mean healthy. And if someone falls outside of whatever definition we've slapped on health at the moment, then everyone suddenly becomes a medical profession in the comment section. And that is a little bit strange, because Hollywood used to give us the beauty ideal.
Culture has always set the precedent. Celebrity culture has always trickled down. It trickles down from, it's celebrity standards that go to influencer standards and then just trickle down into the mainstream.
But now we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have YouTube, we have Twitter, we have celebrities, we have influencers, we have fitness people, we have models, people documenting their diets, people documenting their fitness journey, people documenting their workouts, people documenting their what I eat in a day. So we're not just exposed to the ideal beauty standard. We're constantly comparing ourselves to thousands of people's lives all at once. And that changes things, because maybe in the past you saw a Hollywood actress and you thought to yourself, wow, she's beautiful. Now you see her, then an influencer, then your friend, then someone who has had cosmetic surgery, then her personal trainer, then someone who apparently wakes at 5 a.m. and eats egg whites. And suddenly you're not just looking at other women, you're measuring yourself to them.
It's so easy to compare yourself to girls on social media nowadays. Everyone is so fucking pretty. I used to think I was really pretty, but then I get on TikTok and Instagram and I'm like, damn, I definitely need to go see a surgeon ASAP.
Because the thing is, we keep talking about personal branding and how we present ourselves online and how we curate our lives to fit into a specific image that we put out in the world. But social media has also turned our bodies into personal brands, into content.
Your body is your business card.
I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, but your body is your billboard of your habits. Whether you like it or not, it tells people what you repeatedly prioritize in your life.
Your body can communicate discipline, success, wealth, health, beauty, youth control, even morality, because we don't often just say someone looks good. We assume certain things about them because they look good.
Being fit, being in shape is in itself a status symbol because it signifies a few things. First and foremost, obviously, self-discipline, but on top of that, it alludes to self-interest.
She takes care of herself. She has discipline. She must be very healthy. She works hard for her life. She has her life together, and that's a lot of meaning attributed to someone just purely based on how this is where it gets interesting, because yes, it has changed before. Hollywood and the wider media has moved from one body type to the next. And research has documented real changes in body sizes represented in media over time, even though thinness has remained disproportionately valued. So yes, it can change, but Hollywood doesn't necessarily exist or operate in a vacuum.
LA is now producing brands where you go, they've moved production to like shorts, you know, to launch like the Lemmy creatine or like Courtney doing truffle. Like Hollywood production is now about selling products, not selling movie tickets.
Hollywood responds to audience. Fashion responds to the audience and consumers. Brands respond to what sells. Social media responds to engagement. And the audience responds to what we've always been taught to value. So it's a constant loop. Hollywood gives us an ideal, we engage with it, we reward it, and then brands see that engagement. Hollywood sees what sells and then it gives us more of it, which means I don't think it's enough to ask, why does Hollywood keep doing it? I think we should also ask, why do we keep rewarding it? Why do we keep engaging with it? Because maybe the uncomfortable truth is that Hollywood isn't always creating the ideal. Sometimes it reflects back on us, on our desires, on what we want. And I don't think Ariana Grande created the thin ideal. I don't think Jenna Ortega created it. I don't think Lily Collins created it. I don't think women who participate in an existing beauty system are necessarily responsible for the system itself. There are people working inside the industry who have historically placed an enormous value, enormous importance on women's bodies. And they probably learned those rules way before any of us knew their names. So the question I would ask is, what kind of woman does Hollywood continue to reward? And what kind of woman are we continuing to reward? Because if the beauty ideal can move from Twiggy to heroin chic, to size 0, to the Kardashian body, to the strong, not skinny, and now potentially back towards extreme thinness, then clearly there is nothing inevitable about any of these ideals. They're culture, they're commercial, and they're constantly changing, which means that we can change them too. But I don't know if Hollywood can change it alone, because Hollywood can create the image, but we click, we like, we keep buying, we keep commenting, we keep comparing, we keep rewarding certain bodies, then eventually we'll keep creating the same ideals. And I know that's a bit uncomfortable to hear, because it's much easy to point at Hollywood and say, look at what they're doing to women. But it's much harder to look more in our own society and ask, why is this what we keep telling women is beautiful? Or why is this what we keep pushing women to sort of like embody, to be seen as beautiful?
Have you ever looked at a man's feed? If not, I can give you a pretty accurate description. There's usually some brain rot humor, some kind of sports, some random factual video about a topic you couldn't even imagine, and then the occasional gym video. Then take a look at a woman's. I guarantee, even if she's tried to create a feed of just her interests, there will always be some kind of wellness, health, weight loss video or ad that sneaks its way in.
I think that's a much more interesting question, because these women didn't invent the beauty standard. They didn't invent thinness. They inherited it. And the question is whether we're going to continue to pass it down into the next generation again and again and again. The internet is weird with a capital W, and we're going to decode it together.